moment for everyone to witness and enjoy Pokemon Unite Asia Champions League 2024 in the Grand Finals
การแข่งขันที่มาแบบแสนยาวนานเลยนะครับระหว่างด้านทีม 𝗵𝗶𝗴𝗵𝗵 นะครับกับทีมคาบิชันนั่นเองครับต้องบอกเลยว่าสนุกสนานแน่นอนและตอนนี้เราไปรู้จักกับทีมคาบิชัน
เชิญค่ะ And right now is the KabichanS team and the lineups are 𝗗𝗏𝗏𝗵𝗁, 𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗵𝗁, and Slime
นะครับไลน์อัพของคาบิชันคือ𝗗𝗏𝗏𝗵𝗁, Slime และซึ่งทีมนี้ผ่านเข้ามาจากการแข่งมาจากสายบนนั่นเองและเอาชนะ𝗗𝗏𝗏𝗵𝗁 และเข้ามาสู่รอบนี้ได้และนี่คือคาบิชัน
ขอเสียงปรบมือดังๆเลยค่ะ Round of applause โอ้โหนะคะดูฟอร์มแล้วก็มีความมั่นใจนะคะในสีหน้านะคะ Thank you so much นะคะขอบคุณนะคะโอเคค่ะ You may now be stand by at the desk นะคะ
โอเคเดี๋ยวก็ไปให้ทางนักกีฬาได้เตรียมตัว stand by รอเข้าแข่งขันนะครับผม
โอเคค่ะ stand by at one side first
โอเค
ค่ะและพร้อมแล้วใช่ไหมคะที่จะพบกับอีกหนึ่งทีมที่จะเข้ามาร่วมในการแข่งขันในครั้งนี้
นั่นแหละครับตอนนี้ถ้าทุกคนพร้อมแล้วครับเราไปรู้จักกับผู้ครองอันดับหนึ่งของภูมิภาคอินเดียนั่นคือทีม 𝗵𝗶𝗴𝗵𝗵𝗵
And this is True Gravity, ladies and gentlemen, the lineup of Vulcan, Akul, Melon, Ciso, and Duck.
และนี่คือไลน์อัพของพวกเขาครับ Vulcan, Akul, Melon, Ciso และ Duck ซึ่งเป็นตัวแทนทีมจากอินเดียนะครับที่ได้เข้ามาแข่งขันจากสายล่างชนะมาหลายแมตช์ติดต่อกันและคว้าโอกาสแก้ตัวและมาถึงรอบแกรนด์ไฟนอลและนี่คือทีม True Gravity.
True Gravity is the team that made through this round from the roller bracket competition, and they seized the opportunity to make this round.
สุดยอดมากเลยครับเพราะว่าพวกเขาอยู่สายล่างครับแล้วชนะมาติดต่อกันจนถึงรอบชิงได้ครับ
เอาละค่ะ ladies and gentlemen please give a big round of applause to True Gravity
ขอเสียงปรบมือเลยครับโอ้ไฟลุกจริงๆคุณมิ้ม
เอาละค่ะเดี๋ยวเราเดินมาประมาณทางด้านตรงกลางสักนิดหน่อยนะคะเพราะว่าก่อนที่แข่งขันเนี่ยอยากจะขอเวลาสั้นๆนะคะถามถึงความรู้สึกก่อนที่เขาจะเข้าสู่ช่วงของการแข่งขันแล้วกันนะคะเอาเป็นว่า ladies and gentlemen before going in the battleship I would like to take some few minutes asking about the feeling of these two competitors KabichanS and True Gravities โอเคเอาไปที่ทีมไหนก่อนดีคะพี่ตันคะ
ไปที่KabichanSก่อนไหม
โอเคค่ะโอเค may I have one team member to talk โอเคเชิญค่ะตรงนี้เลยไหมคะได้เลยนะคะตรงนี้แล้วกันOkay, so the first question.
โอเคคำถามแรกนะครับเราจะถามว่าพวกเขาเตรียมพร้อมมากน้อยแค่ไหนเกี่ยวกับการเข้ามาในรอบชิงชนะเลิศตรงนี้ฮะ
Okay, so the first question I would like to ask is how much well prepared you have been in this grand finals.
いよいよグランドファイナルですね。準備はバッチリですか？100% prepared.
โอ้โห
เตรียมตัวมา 100% ความมั่นใจนะครับครับและคำถามที่2ครับผมคุณจะสามารถเอาชนะฝ่ายตรงข้ามได้อย่างไรครับ
Okay. But this question is without not like leaking information too much, but I would like to know how would you strategy to defeat the competitor, the enemy team.
はい、ネタバレしなくてもいいんですけれども、相手チームにどのような戦略で勝っていこうと思っていますか？We'll be moving forward, pushing forward, and we'll be playing aggressively.
แบบดุดันแล้วไปหน้าล้วน
อยากดูเลยทันทีนะคะ
ดุเดือดแน่นอนนะครับ
อยากจะชมแล้วเนี่ย
มีอีกหนึ่งคำถามครับคุณครับอยากจะถามว่าอยากจะพูดหรือจะบอกอะไรกับแฟนๆของพวกเขาที่คอยติดตามหรือเชียร์หรือไม่ฮะ
Okay, and before going to the battle, do you have something to say to your fans?
はい、それでは試合前にファンの皆さんに対してカメラに向かって一言お願いします。We will definitely win and become Asia champions, so please support us. Thank you.
โอ้โหขอเสียงปรบมือดังๆเลยค่ะ
ใช่ครับKabichanSครับขอบคุณครับเอาละครับและตอนนี้เราก็ต้องไปพูดคุยกับทาง True Gravity ครับตัวแทนจากประเทศอินเดียครับคุณมิ้มครับ
โอเคค่ะเชิญเลยค่ะเดี๋ยวขออนุญาตมาทางด้านนี้แล้วกันนะคะ
ได้เลยครับ
So I will ask the same question that we did ask with the KabichanS. So the first question is how well you think you've been prepared for this grand finals?
I think we have come a long way. We have defeated every team, I think, in the loser brackets. It's like the group of death we have cleared. So we are pretty prepared for KabichanS We don't expect any random plays. We'll catch up to them and we'll try our best to win.
โอเค
ก็
ค่ะ
คือเขาบอกว่าผ่านมาทุกอย่างแล้วนะ
ใช่
บทพิสูจน์ต่างๆนะครับไม่ว่าจะเป็นกรุ๊ปอัปเดตไม่ว่าจะเป็นโอเวอร์แบรคเก็ตเขาผ่านหมดแล้ว
ใช่
นะครับแล้วก็จะใส่ทุกอย่างที่มีแน่นอนนะ
นี่นะคะมาแบบตอนแรกไม่ได้คาดหวังอะไรมากนะคะตอนนี้นี่ก็คือมีความมั่นใจนะคะเตรียมความพร้อมมาอย่างเต็มที่นะคะ
ใช่ครับ
Okay so the next question without divulging too much information on strategy but how would you think you will defeat the enemy team
We will give our best. KabichanS is a very quiet team. We haven't seen them make any. We haven't seen any like the talks anything. They're a very quiet team. So we'll see. We'll try our best.
Okay
โอเคครับก็เหมือนว่าด้วยความที่ทีมของเขาเนี่ยมาแบบเงียบๆแต่เขาฟาดเรียบหมดเลยนะครับคือด้วยความที่ว่าหลายๆทีมเนี่ยอาจจะไม่รู้จักเขาดีพอ
ค่ะ
แต่วันนี้เดี๋ยวพวกคุณได้รู้จักแน่นอนนะ
นี่นะคะแล้วคาบิจังเนี่ยก็ค่อนข้างเป็นทีมที่เรียกได้ว่าแบบ
เต็งแชมป์มาก
ใช่ใช่นะคะแต่ยังไงเขาก็จะพยายาม try our best นะคะก็คือทำให้ดีที่สุดแล้วกันนะคะ
ครับ
So
ผม
the last thing I would like you to say something to your fans that have been supporting
Cheer for us, guys. We have come a long way from the losers bracket. Group of death. We will win for sure. We have cleared every team.
True Gravity ขอเสียงปรบมือดังๆเลยค่ะ
Thank you
Thank you so much
เอาเลยครับโอ้โหฮะคือก็ต้องบอกว่าพวกเขาก็พร้อมกันแล้วครับคุณมิ้นครับ
ใช่แล้วค่ะก็คิดว่าตอนนี้ทุกคนก็พร้อมแล้วเช่นเดียวกันนะคะ Are you ready
พร้อมหรือยังครับ
ทำใหม่ขอเสียงอีกที
โอเคตอนนี้พวกคุณพร้อมกับการดูรอบชิงแกรนด์ฟินาลแล้วหรือยัง
นี่มันต้องอย่างนี้
สุดยอดมากครับเอาเลยครับตรงนี้เดี๋ยวนักกีฬาก็ขอเชิญนักกีฬาเตรียมตัวเข้าประจำที่เลยครับคุณมิ้นครับ
ใช่แล้วค่ะแล้วเดี๋ยวเราจะขอส่งต่อนะคะหน้าที่นี้ให้กับแคสเตอร์แล้วกันค่ะ
เอาเลยครับผมไปดูกันเลยครับในรอบแกรนด์ฟินาล
A grand finals for us all to enjoy. Every single human being offline and online. Interested to find out who will be have their names inscribed next to those legendary names in the Pokemon Unite ACL history here. 5 new champions shall be crowned here in the final chapter of the Pokemon Unite ACL book here. Pokemon Unite has done as well than Nelly, but I can tell you this, I can strongly believe KabichanS and True Gravity is going to treat us very well with a fantastic grand finals to remember.
I expect a really exciting grand finals. And I think most importantly, the question on everyone's mind is history going to be made today? Because already we're looking at a very packed history book, in particular for the India region. Actually, this is the most successful run an Indian team has ever had in a Pokemon Unite tournament, an international Pokemon Unite tournament. And the question we all have on our minds is, are they going to take the throne? Are they going to take the crown? Are they going to be the first champions of a, well, I would argue, a tier 1 tournament? They are so close. They have one opponent left. But I have to say, their road to get here, it wasn't a fluke, it wasn't simple, it wasn't easy. They have played so many matches today. They have played 4 best of 3s. 3 of them, I believe, back to back. Now playing another best of 3. They did have a 40-minute break. I do believe this is for the players to have their lunch, to just have a moment to sort of relax, because if True Gravity had to continue playing against KabichanS immediately in the grand finals after the lower brackets, and they somehow managed to win that, I think that would have been a grand feat in itself, but they did deserve to have that break. Speaking of our 2 grand finalists though, Leonard, let's introduce them. Starting off with our first grand finalist coming in from the upper bracket, we have KabichanS.
Of course, Team KabichanS, you guys are wondering who they are. If you still don't know, I can't believe you don't. But these are the players: 𝗗𝗏𝗶𝗵𝗏𝗶, 𝗗𝗏𝗏𝗵𝗁, Rom, and I am Tomato. And while we're still currently on the topic of I am Tomato, an absolutely insane defender so far. A very masterful, very flexible with the defender role. Didn't really feel so restricted, regardless of what Pokemon defender he was being selected or, well, I guess you could say, given or entrusted to utilize in each of their series and compositions.
Yeah, and one of the biggest things with KabichanS is that this is one of the newest teams to come out of Japan. They have so much potential. I'm really excited to see this team actually participate in AOS Cup later this year against some of the other regions, because playing in Asia, we kind of have our own thing going on, but international, going over an ocean, that's a different story. But so let's talk about our underdogs here. We have Team True Gravity, the team from Indonesia, the underdogs. Let's introduce them, Leonard.
Of course, ladies and gentlemen, we have Vulcan, Akul, Melon, Zessel, and Duck. And let's be honest, we know at least 3 of those players. Zessel, Vulcan, and Akul come from a very strong competitive background when it comes to Pokemon Unite.
They've been around for ages.
Veterans at this point, from back in 2022, right? But the competitors here just really joined into this roster and has been given quite strides and ways in their respective roles as they climb up through this lower bracket here. You could not ask for a more physical proof than this run that True Gravity has been showing to us in this lower bracket.
Yeah, and they have been making the most of this lower bracket run momentum, because after each and every win, that they just seem to celebrate even harder and harder. And I really am curious to know, what were the team's true expectations coming into the Pokemon Unite Asia Champions League 2024? Like, did they ever expect to make it to the grand finals to begin with?
I mean, it is definitely a plan, right? It's definitely the goal, right?
It's the dream, the ultimate goal, sure.
Of course, because like when you have a team, instantly that should have been the goal. That is going to be the long run. It's a matter of how are they going to get there. They already had their beginning, and they're slowly building up towards it. When it was and it all started back in the ACL India Open as well, and the championship series for the India side here. Now this is the final step here to really showcase to the world in the tier 1 tournament in the ACL here. If they can get grand champions, that's a big step. That's a very massive leap. But even if they don't, second place against such phenomenal tier 1 teams in their respective region in the Asia scene is still a very phenomenal feat. Sure, it may not be 3 steps forward, but it's still a step forward regardless.
Yes, so what is going to happen in this upcoming matchup? I know we're all waiting with bated breath that these players get ready to jump into the draft. Now, I do want to remind all of our viewers, we are still playing the single draft for the grand final. And unlike last year, for last year's ACL finals, it was a best of 5 grand final, no reset. But for this year, it is slightly different. We have a best of 3 grand final, but there is a chance for reset. So for the reset to happen, it would have to be True Gravity to win the first best of 3 to force the reset. And then there's going to be another best of 3 where we determine who is going to be the champion. And it's a big ask, but True Gravity, they have proved a lot of people wrong thus far, and they're about to put India on the map.
I mean, it should have been on the map in the first place, but this is going to be a very grand statement, right? That kind of thing. And in the India scene, right, we don't really have a lot of esports like visual opportunities, but at the same time, there's just so many great talents there, great opportunities to really scout these out. I think it'll be a fantastic ground for Pokemon Unite talents to really start showing more of themselves besides just Team True Gravity.
There's a lot here on the line for both of these teams. Let's talk about some of the Pokemon that we could be looking at for game number 1 for both of these teams. A comparison between their playstyles, what they love to pick. There are going to be a lot of similarities with the standard picks, but let's talk about the strange one from KabichanS. This first pick, 𝗶𝗴𝗵𝗵𝗵𝗵, that they love to go for in all of their first games.
The thing is, I think it somewhat makes sense, right? Because remember, KabichanS is just one of those teams. They even mentioned themselves in the interview, right? They don't really have like anything like crazy. There's not like a lot of tactics or policy they really set for themselves.
Well, I mean, 𝗶𝗴𝗵𝗵𝗵 is the craziest thing to come out from KabichanS,
I mean,
right?
yeah, definitely for sure. But it is also, it's not like they picked it up kind of thing. It's one of their few go-tos initially for the side for Victopo. But like I said, very straightforward team here. They have already a final goal because they know for a fact the game is definitely going to drag out to that 10 minutes. It's always going to end up towards their 𝗏𝗏𝗏 hit, right? So they always build around the composition on how well can we secure it, how strong is our team fight capabilities as well. All that matters is just trying to sustain. They have early game composition, they have also late game scaling ones as well. 𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏 comes into the mix to someone fits in some of the scenarios, especially going against a team who also has very similar ideas and they also like to scale towards that late game by bringing in an additional multi-evolution Pokemon.
Yeah, and most importantly for this matchup, this is the first time both of these teams are meeting each other in person. We don't know what the situation is for scrims. Maybe they did scrim each other leading up to the tournament, as most competitors do when they meet. But if they haven't, this is going to be a first for everybody.
Yes, definitely for sure. I'm actually really having quite the ball, right? Like, think of it this way, right? KabichanS is unlike their senior 𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏, right? Not as polished like a weapon like a rapier. That would be the weapon representative coming from the side here for 𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏. But for Sire KabichanS, they're like a great sword. May not have the highest accuracy, but they have one of the unmatched strengths and brute force capable on their side here. And since they I like the term simplicity at its finest, focusing around the pit, having multiple options and strong team fight capabilities, this is going to be quite a threat to face. However, this is where true gravity comes in, right? They have been warmed up. They went through multiple teams, got a lot of intel, got a lot of first-hand experience on what kind of composition that's potentially thrown at them. Someone mentally prepped them for going against Team KabichanS.
Okay, I have a question.
Oh, question. Right.
Is there a chance that 𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏 may be banned here by Team True Gravity? Because KabichanS have done this in every single game one, I believe. No one has banned it, no one has picked it from them, so it has been a free pick for this team. Do you think True Gravity, they're going to pick up on this and say, maybe it's the 𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏 that's the issue here? So at the moment, it looks like Leafeon's going to be hovered over by KabichanS, and Team True Gravity going to go back for the classic Umbreon ban, as I do believe it's going to be first pick for KabichanS, and yes, it is 𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏 going in the way of KabichanS.
The thing is, you really need to prepare for the fight. KabichanS is definitely going to be starting things strong here. With both the Leafeon and Umbreon, definitely one of the few go-to priority bans so far to this entire series. Starting things off with intelligence. They somewhat secure that back line here. But what's about the remaining? And like you mentioned, not playing around, not winning off the Buzzwole, they decide to bring in the 𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏 here to really the scale alongside with the intelligence. However, this time, they do not really have the Blaster to really pair alongside with them, as they will prioritize in getting that crossover for themselves here.
Oh, pretty interesting choice here. And whoa, look at the choice of Pokemon. Alrighty, so we do have a full draft here for both of these teams. Inteleon, Crustle, 𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏 and Venusaur going up against like Clefable, Blastoise, Sylveon, Slowbro. And we're looking for the last pick here for Team True Gravity. What is it going to be for the central lane? It's going to be the Glaceon. This is a Pokemon that we have seen True Gravity have a lot of success with as well. Game number 1 is set. We're going to have our players switch their Pokemon, but looking at this, it's standard across the board. Nothing crazy.
This is so amazing, because, but I am a little bit concerned because I am told it's definitely going to be running that Crustle. I did mention a few times, I'm still going to say it again. An absolutely insane Crustle defender player, absolutely unhinged. Definitely fantastic for already setting things up. Late game scaling wise, you see the hands here of Team KabichanS absolutely solid for that one. But then again, you can't really like sub out 𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏 here of like other EV evolution Pokemon they have, like the Espeon or Sylvia. Sure, you got some really great damage coming in from the Hyper Voice, and of course a lot of frontal. If they want to assert their dominance, I think it's really possible for them. But really, Danny, like let's just take a step back from all this, right? Seriously, like take a moment to really like compose themselves, right? Like put yourself, like everyone seriously online and offline, put yourself in the shoes of these human beings, controller and console at their fingertips, doing what they have been doing countless times at this point here, right? But this time, we're all here to witness they make personal history and game history. This is exactly what the Pokemon Unite ACL is all about, Danny. And we're finally getting ready to go into our very first round.
You know what? I actually am a little bit worried about here. I feel like Team 𝗵𝗶𝗵𝗵𝗵, I think they let KabichanS have their best Pokemon, or what they prefer, right?
Okay.
I think they've given them their preferred Pokemon on purpose. And it makes me think that maybe they're playing some mind games here, because we've seen 𝗵𝗵𝗵𝗵𝗵 just give away their opponent's signature Pokemon. Like, sure, they could have counterpicked, but they'd rather just say, that's fine, we'll fight into you because we got what we wanted. And remember as well, Dragonite has not been chosen at all, and it looks like they're going to be saving it in their back pocket for Team 𝗵𝗵𝗵𝗵𝗵. Now, the thing is, KabichanS can also play that Dragonite. It's been a very popular choice in Japan. But let's jump into this game here, folks. Game 1 of the grand final against KabichanS and 𝗵𝗵𝗵𝗵𝗵. Who's going to be taking this first game, and are we possibly looking at a reset?
This is really hard to tell, and and that is a question that I even am finding it really hard to decide. Both teams have so much potential, so much strength, but of course, look at it, a very instant dive trying to secure as many of these fruits. We'll try to eject by the safety, but will not find a chance. But guess what? This Torchic, literally, although yes, Torchic going to the center area is prime target for some invasion, but they're not really cutting around because they also have a couple of Pokemon they really want to try to get focus and prioritize those EXP. None can really find the time to really spare to really try to go for the invasion, just in case allow this girl to really get bullied out the lane. They need to contest for that EXP and levels.
I do like the choice for Icy Wind wind here on this Glaceon as well. You're going to have some movement around this crystal as well as that Blaziken if you do get dove upon. So very safe choice here on the side of 𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏. Lanes so far are not looking too bad for either side. Not really looking at any lane crushers yet because Blaziken still not fully online. 𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏's just trying to get up to that Blaziken before he's going to go absolutely ham. But I hope 𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏 are aware of this, that this is how KabichanS like to play. They can be a little bit passive in those lanes, but once 𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏 is ready to go, I hope your central laner is ready to match him. Now his matchup is going to be up against that Glaceon, and he might actually be, 𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏 might be a really good way to keep this Blaziken in check, because teams that have gone up against KabichanS up until now, game number 1, we haven't seen anyone comfortably be able to deal with that Blaziken. We haven't seen any central area invades. We haven't seen this Pokemon dominated. Let's see if the solution is here for 𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏.
But look at the levels, Danelli. Like, we're talking about like just the central area, the only one level 7, whereas the bottom part, the central area, are already matching in such a high level stakes here. Both level 7s here, while the rest of the team are trying to find a way to catch things up. Duck, not to worry, still one level away before he gets to that last place as well. And then Ivysaur really slowed down here. But I guess, you know, that's what happens when you're going up against a Waterless, or one of the best secure moves on those wild Pokemons here. Sure, Razor Leaf is pretty great, but with all this rotation coming from the Glaceon here, he doesn't really able to find that opportunity. But then again, was able to get a nice on top of 𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏 here, and even force out the eject, but a defensive one, but also pressure them enough with the Rock Tomb alone.
Perfect timing there from Tomato, possibly saving his teammate there for 𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏. He is going to be pressured by Zeshal a little bit by that Sylveon. Just going to chip him away. No full commitment. It's just a Sylveon. But that's already one movement coming up from KabichanS just being denied. But also for 𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏, if they got that KO, I think that actually would have been the momentum that they're looking for. Remember, 𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏, they are popping off on momentum today after all of these wins. Objective-wise, though, KabichanS, they've got their eyes set on getting the experience. They have that Regirock buff, so they're going to have that for at least this part of the game. But up top, though, there is a fight for that 𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏, and this is where 𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏 is going to fully commit for this objective. They're pushing away this Venusaur and 𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏. The team is still in that bottom lane, but if they can get the steal here by 𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏, that would be fantastic. But no, it's actually going to be the 𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏
versus 2 for the 𝗏𝗏𝗃𝗏. If they manage to get it, of course, that will be a very massive bonus. But even if they don't, not really a lot of loss to them because their goal is just to get those levels. Keep up with the race. They're all late. They're really great skating Pokemon. Just try to get as much level as possible before you get to the Rayquaza. Look at it. We're already 5 minutes in, and Blaziken and 𝗏𝗏𝗃𝗏 is already level 10.
I have to say, this is probably the slowest we've actually seen KabichanS play in their series thus far. We're so used to seeing them diving on top of their opponents, but they're playing defense this game. They're trying to make sure that True Gravity, their rotations are effectively blocked. But the same thing's happening for KabichanS, right? They're focusing on their macro, trying to get this experience and hoping to get into this late game. If they find an opening, though, surely KabichanS will try to make that play happen. But at the same time, they can't afford to make those mistakes. They're going up against a lineup that will be really deadly, especially once 𝗏𝗏𝗃𝗏 hits that field.
The thing is, I totally understand why they're not really keeping as much.
It's 2 defenders and the Glaceon. Let's see if they're going to be able to pull anything off here. They do serve into the majority of KabichanS, but the last hit for the 𝗏𝗏𝗃𝗏, who's going to be able to get it? It's a 𝗏𝗏𝗃𝗏𝗵𝗁. And now it's going to be KabichanS turning onto True Gravity. 3 Pokemon knocked out. They've got 2 more. The Snapshot connecting onto that Sylveon. This 𝗏𝗏𝗃𝗏 will go into that goal zone, and we've got some free points being scored by KabichanS. It's just Vulcan left.
Oh, it's so much damage. Now finally KabichanS grouping up as a group of 5 here. Just insane amount of damage. Sure, you got the Hydro Food, sure, you got the Moonlight, but you cannot withstand against that kind of damage. Rock Tomb into the Verdant Angle. Nice timing to try to force the Blaziken back, but that's not really going to be stopping out here from 𝗏𝗏𝗃𝗏, is there? Not enough follow-up or not enough control here.
The efficiency for those goal scores as well. KabichanS are taking this game 100% serious. They're not falling for that trap that a lot of other teams competing today did. So we are at the 3-minute mark here, folks. 1 more minute to go before 𝗏𝗏𝗃𝗏 hits that field. So these teams are going to try and get as much experience as possible. And if you're KabichanS, you're going to want to try to force out some premature Unite moves here. We do see 𝗏𝗏𝗃𝗏 being caught there by the Surf, but it's just the Blastoise and a 𝗏𝗏𝗃𝗏. There's not really too much threat here for that Blaziken. Glaceon, though, will be making that appearance. They're going to be doing a little bit there to the Blissey. Not so much to threaten the Blissey's knockout, but it's a race here for this experience. I have to say the invades coming out from KabichanS really trying to starve out True Gravity.
Look at that, they even drew like I guess you could say like a very virtual line across the central area. Right? They're like, you can't cross this line. This is our territory. This is ours for the taking here. 20 seconds before the Rayquaza spawns in as well. But remember, KabichanS is in full control, not in terms of score, not just in terms of AOS score levels, but also positioning wise. Trying to get as much intel as much as possible, but also not too far with the goalpost to really try to defend it and try to defend against backcappers.
Yeah, so very big level gap between these two teams. We're looking at 2 level 13s on the side of KabichanS and just the Glaceon for True Gravity. So with only 70 points in their pockets, it's up to True Gravity to somehow figure out if they can get these backcaps in, if they're maybe going to be able to just go for a Rayquaza rip. We're seeing KabichanS spread out at the moment, trying to guard for any backcaps, but they are closing in on to the Indians. And there's an immediate knockout onto the Blaziken. 𝗏𝗏𝗃𝗏 falling into that trap. And look at this, they've actually managed to catch 𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏 and the support in a small choke point. But Dark, he's on it. He's already used his Unite move. There's not going to be no more Blastoise. 4v4. The fight continues though. This Sylveon barely surviving, just able to dash on out of there. And so far, 𝗏𝗏𝗃𝗏, he's trying to hang in there for his team. We do see the Inteleon extremely low. He's going to have to try and recoup with the support if necessary. But 𝗏𝗏𝗃𝗏, he's keeping Melon at bay. Glaceon's going to have to go for that reset. And True Gravity, this game isn't over yet.
Of course, but a couple of more points being dumped in on the top side as well. It will be enough to actually excel across them now. They want to try to secure the Rayquaza, and of course they will. With the Unite move still in the hands of 𝗏𝗏𝗃𝗏, he's going to be an absolute roll. There's nothing that can really slow him down. There's no Slow Beam, there's no Hydro Typhoon. They're currently at the mercy of members of Team KabichanS as they make their way with the Rayquaza shields and the points. Guess what? You may have a slight lead initially, but we will bounce back in a very significant manner.
Oh, what quick thinking coming in from KabichanS. Yes, they saw the Slowbro coming in with the 80-point back cap, but they said, it's all right. all 5 of us here at the Rayquaza pit, we are certain that we are going to be able to lock this objective down. They take it, they wipe True Gravity, and they lock in Game 1 of the Grand Finals. KabichanS, they're not here to play.
I mean, sure, of course, not for this round, not at this stage of the competition. This is the very series that will determine who is really the strongest in the Asian scene. But let's be honest here, Denali, right? Like, even yes, it was a fantastic catch on Victor, right? You really nailed him with the slow beat, he really removed him from the variables here. But what happened afterwards as they were really chasing them down in such close quarter? Really not, sadly, they don't really have like someone similar to a cross to try to lock them down in place to prevent certain escapes. However, while they're trying to chase them down, that's when you see Rom. Remember, KabichanS' composition isn't solely dependent on one player alone, one Pokemon trainer alone. Everyone is damaging. Like 𝗘𝗏𝗏 is doing some great damage, 𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗵𝗁 is there as well as the all-rounder, but Rom is still the main target with the Inteleon. Do you know how much damage he did to the side here? For the side of both Vulcan and 𝗟𝗏𝗏𝗵𝗁, instantly had to back off and pop the Unite move, one right click, and instantly they just back up. They're like, okay, we can't do anything about it. Vulcan, though, very wise to go for the dunk, for the points at the bottom path, and even for 𝗟𝗏𝗏𝗵𝗁 going to the top side. But then again, just so much commitment, and they just couldn't remove as much players as much as possible. Maybe if they managed to catch maybe 2 or 3 more players, then they might have a little bit more control of that pit.
Maybe 𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗵𝗁 was the trap all along. They said True Gravity, 𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗵𝗁 might be a Blaziken. Come for me, but leave Rom alone. There's a reason why there was multiple praising threads online of Rom's Inteleon yesterday. He plays this Pokemon so amazingly. But the good news for True Gravity, we have to also look at this from True Gravity's perspective. They don't have to deal with this Inteleon anymore. They're going to have to look at other options for Rom's Pokemon. Also not having to worry so much about the Venusaur as well as the Blaziken, and I think getting rid of Tomato's Crustle, they're going to be pretty happy with that. Although being 1 game down in a best of 3 series and being a grand final series, the pressure is now on for True Gravity to turn things on its head for game number 2. If they want that reset, they're going to have to win these next 2 games back to back.
The thing is, now here's the interesting factor, right? Now,
and then I guess we also have that one pick that we haven't seen today.
okay,
𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏's Dodrio. So he's played the Dodrio once, and it was not the best Dodrio. But just to know that 𝗏𝗏𝗏 can play it, and what Dodrio can bring to the table, I kind of feel like that chaos, that craziness, and that pressure that a Dodrio brings, it could be something that would really throw KabichanS off. Just because Dodrio, at the moment, it's not a super popular pick. It does require a lot of setup. We've been seeing teams draft it in either 2nd or 3rd games after certain Pokemon have already been banned out from their opponent's pool. But is this the game to bring it in? I don't think so, because a lot of the counters, quote-unquote counters to Dodrio, have not been played by KabichanS yet.
Yes, exactly. That's what I also want to bring up. If you really want to bring the Dodrio for 𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏 to really pick it up here, you need to set up that composition. You really need to get that really last hit in. However, KabichanS, like I said, all depends on the bans, right? Kind of thing. If they were to let, I can guarantee this for sure, if they do not ban the Leaf Field, it might be an option for True Gravity to really try to pick it up. But of course, like you said, this depends on the composition coming in, because there are a few counters still left on the pool side here. Dragonite sounds good, but honestly, what I really want to see is, because unfortunately, because they don't have Crosser, if they don't have Crosser, so I don't think we'll be able to see the Chandelure here, because there's still a few options for them to really pick up here. Or could we possibly see the Zoroark, though? If the ban for the Umbreon coming from the side here, True Gravity still maintains Speedster's options is suddenly coming to the side for Team KabichanS, because there's no Blastoise. Sure, you can bring in the Crustle, you can bring in the Trevenant, but I believe since they couldn't take the Crustle, but KabichanS still can take the Trevenant away from them, including the Blastoise here. It's really great walls for backline composition, but also at the same time, you can really set up for your Speedsters.
I suspect the 2 bans to be Buzzwole and Umbreon as per usual. I think teams have now just figured out that Umbreon and Buzzwole, these are the default bans nowadays. But it'll be great, because firstly, KabichanS, they don't want to give that away to Duck. They do not get first pick, and knowing True Gravity, they will pick that Buzzwole for Duck if it's available. But as for True Gravity, what are they willing to give away to KabichanS? And what do they want to do for this next matchup? Because after seeing how well KabichanS played in that first game, and these were some of the best Pokemon that True Gravity have, how are you going to approach this next game?
Well, like
it was, I'm not sure about you. Did you feel like that was a very peaceful early game from both teams? Like, we didn't see a lot of knockouts. We saw a couple skirmishes, but everyone ended up just backing out.
So that's what I'm saying, right? I think the impression, like, just like you said, you were like surprised that you didn't see as much aggression coming from KabichanS, right? Even this kind of late game scaling composition, right? I think it was the same applied for True Gravity. I think they already somewhat suspected that we might be getting a lot of early game aggression, so they wanted to play around with reacting with the slow beam and also with that Hydro Typhoon, especially since that Blastoise already hit level 8 and level 9 at that stage. He would have already had the Unite move. But what happened was, like you said, a very quiet game. Couple of skirmishes, sure, to try to get some control for the goal post and for objective, yes, that's understandable, but nothing too crazy that was really happening. Not too much over diving, except that one time for the 𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗵𝗁 that early round. That one was a really crazy dive, and that was, I believe, it was in the hands of, yes, actually by True Gravity. They were the one who initiated that really crazy dive.
Yeah, they just wanted to score some points. We see it all the time with the supports. But I definitely see that that True Gravity, they are looking a little bit shaken, especially after that first match.
It's a very change of pace, right? It feels suddenly like
the atmosphere is different.
It's like when you somewhat like mentally prepare yourself, that kind of thing. Like, okay, prepare for a storm, but it's just also sun and rainbow, so kind of thing, like nothing happened. So now maybe the mentality is a little bit shaken, but I still think they're knowing the members of Team Gravity, True Gravity, they will still be a calm and collected mentality as they really get ready for this second game. Yes, we did say it's going to be a quiet default ban for the side here for both teams, Buzzwole and Umbreon, but I still think there is a possibility that they actually might just end up banning the Inteleon entirely, because that comfortability of the idea where you don't really have to be poked too much, because let's be honest, sure, Inteleon is just one of those really crazy high damage in the long range. Like when it comes to range, Inteleon is really unmatched here at this point, and the game will always end up going to that recourse a bit. If you can try to remove as many variables as possible, I think it's really possible for them. But this does depend on who gets the first pick, right? That kind of thing. I'm calling it here and now. If KabichanS has first pick, they'll ban an Inteleon and they'll try to swap it the Buzzwole if they can. That's what I feel.
I think Buzzball stays banned. I think they let Inteleon through, and I think KabichanS might lock in 𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏 first. 𝗏𝗏𝗏 is also been a priority for a lot of these teams. KabichanS, they do enjoy that 𝗏𝗏 or 𝗏𝗏 if they can get it, because they know that 𝗏𝗏 is going to be available because TrueGravity have also played that.
Right,
yeah. So and 𝗏𝗏𝗏 as well. Like, I think it really depends on what they're going to get. If KabichanS can somehow get Dragonite, then 𝗏𝗏𝗏 might be an option. But I do think 𝗏𝗏 is the preferable one here for KabichanS.
If I'm not mistaken, like, 𝗏𝗏𝗏 has already been played by KabichanS in the first round, right, as well?
Yes, they already used.
Yeah, so not really much support left. There's still the Elder Gods, but of course 𝗏𝗏 is going to be somewhat of the go-to, right? And Team Gravity, they can't really get it. Oh, they went, instead of banning the Umbreon, they went to ban the 𝗏𝗏.
So this means Umbreon is available for TrueGravity to get first, and that's going to be the play here. So TrueGravity locking in the Umbreon for Melon. They're going to have to figure out what to do next because they've just given away Buzzball to KabichanS. They can pick this up. They're going to go for Zoro Mew for their first two picks. What is this madness?
No, this is what I'm telling you right now. Prepare for that aggression, you guys. TrueGravity.
They've just given away Dragonite.
And I feel
and Espeon. Espeon is one of the most annoying Pokemon to go against as a Zoro. It's one of the biggest complaints I've been hearing from players. Espeon is such a pain as Zoro. And there we go. They got all, TrueGravity just got their dream team. These are Pokemon that TrueGravity want.
Yeah, it really gravitates to exactly the ID composition they really want to try to go for as well. Now the last call for it, you can't like going for the Sylveon for the Fairy Falling, right? At least give that some flexibility, right? At least look at the price right then, Nelly. It is their hyper carry is gonna be quite the contact play, right? Now there's gonna be at least now this whole game is gonna be transitioning on how 𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏 will be playing around with that Zoroark. The early game aggression that TrueGravity might have anticipated for the first round can now begin here in the second one. And like I told you, right? Like Inteleon is something that KabichanS really wanted to remove in the first game. But what I didn't anticipate was getting rid of the 𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏. But I think it somewhat works out in their favor as well, because since they're going with this all mini lineup for the side of TrueGravity, you just don't want to keep too much sustainability inside your team KabichanS.
It's not just that too. Like, one of the major benefits of 𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏 that has been the biggest thing that's driving this Pokemon is how it is so good in those very long team standoffs. Where you're around the Rayquaza pit and you have your ranged attackers just like throwing moves, pokes, just slowly chipping away your opponents, forcing out all the sustain from the supports. One of the things that 𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏's not going to be able to do is keep up with a 𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏 in the healing department. So the fight goes long enough, 𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏's keeping the team popped up, but your 𝗏𝗏𝗏's going to start running out of those eggs. So to get rid of that, what we're looking at here for TrueGravity is that they're saying, we're going to fight into you and you're going to run out of juice.
Yeah, definitely for sure. They are absolutely happy with this frontal confrontation, but that's only towards the late game, right? They kind of think they really prep for the Dragonite. This early game macro decision coming from the hand of Kokoda will somewhat decide how the pace of the game is going. Like, if it does enough damage to the Zoroark, alongside with the 𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏, alongside with 𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏, if they do just enough damage, enough pressure, enough control of points, I think even with the Buzzball in the hands of TrueGravity, would not be able to withstand the kind of damage coming out, right? Because remember, if Zoroark really gets online, that burst damage is still insane.
That shouldn't happen because 𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏 to a certain degree blocks what a Zoro does, which is just 100-0 Pokemon. So the Bliss Assist, the fact that Bliss Assist exists, it is going to be a huge threat to 𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏 in every single fight. But if the Bliss Assist gets whiffed, then that's when Zoro really pops off. It's going to come down to these two teams. Is it going to be a 2-0 grand final here, Leonard? Or are we looking at a Game 3 and a potential reset? Let's find out.
It's so hard to say, right? Because like it feels like the stars are aligning with the composition that Team TrueGravity has, right? Buzzball is great for displacement. You got the Umbreon. It feels like very dangerous territory. It feels like every territory that this Zoroark is going to be entering is full of landmines. There's so many ways to displace him, so many ways to control him or interrupt him as well. And talk about the amount of sustain coming from two all-rounders. Sure, you can do a lot of damage, you can burst him down, but Bliss Assist can save anyone. But then again, that is the sole weakness about Bliss Assist, right? It is only that Unite mode is more of a targeted skill, so in other words, you can really only save that one person alone. So knowing
Trust Vulcan.
Yeah,
Vulcan has popped off today. I trust this man to get the Bliss Assist.
But I also at the same time trust in Kokoda to know how to tackle or play around that Bliss Assist. But this game, relatively hard. If you can actually force out some really good mean looks before the actual big fight, I think that can be quite helpful for the frontal, at least confrontation.
Look, I actually think these mean looks are nasty against KabichanS because you're running 𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏. It's not a standard support that's going to save you. 𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏 only gives you healing on one Pokemon. If that Pokemon gets knocked out, your 𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏 gets dropped. You're going to go down as well.
It's a buy one, free one deal.
It is a buy one, free one deal. So Zoro is going to apply some pressure onto Vulcan on that 𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏 and will get the KO in the process. Mean Look does connect, but Dragonair is still busy trying to finish up that central area farm and actually is going to get that stolen. Oh no, that's not what you want as that Dragonair, but 𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏 stuck around for a little bit too long with the Buzzball committing, but no, they did not get 𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏. The man gets away scot-free. And these are the plays that you want to make happen as that Zoro. Slip in, slip out, force the attention away so that your side lanes are opened up.
Oh, man, this is crazy. Melon, of course, getting ready to rotate around because I think after clearly seeing what's been happening for the past 2 minutes of the round, everyone needs to really group up. Everyone needs to getting ready to reinforce to try to get this punish. Don't give enough openings to allow team members or at least to allow the Zoroark to really get this engine going. Don't play around his tempo. Don't play the palm of his hand. Don't play by his tunes. Try to deny him as much as possible to stick together the distant necessary amount of damage. Great reinforcement coming in, a great rotation coming in from the Espeon to try to get the pick up. But then again, nice time with the Duck Fox. You should keep him alive and away from the rest of the squad.
If 𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏 wasn't there, 𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏 absolutely would have tried to go for the dive there onto Doug. So this Espeon is keeping this Zoro in check as long as he's there. Looks like both of the Reggies are on the field here, folks, so it's going to be time for these teams to go for those big fights. And up top, we are still seeing this here with 𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏 applying a lot of pressure onto Doug. We also have Vulcan sticking around on the goal zone, and here comes that Dragonite. All it takes is one Activate, but he actually got two Pokemon, both Duck and Vulcan, and 𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏 gets out scot-free as well. What a play coming out from the Zoroark.
Unbelievable, you're not really keeping him alive. by a slimmer of HP, and he still managed to get the pick up on Duck. But
And he gets the SP on in the top lane as well.
I can't believe it. Just bouncing back and forth. And it's managed to... Who's going to be able to secure? Oh no, it's in the hands of the side of KabichanS. So that damage buff is still going to be implemented to the top side towards the hand of 𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏. This buff is going to be really great to help him secure all his dish of the damage.
Look at that level advantage.
It's massive. It's insane. He's level 10, by the way, and he's still shredding all these players.
This is how you want to play Zoro. You pop off, you get a huge level advantage, and you threaten everybody on the map. The fact that 𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗵𝗏 used the Unite there was able to keep 𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏 topped up and also prevented 𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏 and 𝗏𝗏𝗏 from even thinking about turning onto him. If you're 𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏, you got to slow things down a little bit. The fact that they're showing their face of 𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏 as being this relentless, this confident, they need to come back, get those levels. One of the things that you have to worry about with Zoro is that his early game might be a menace, but as the game gets later and later, he turns more and more into that glass cannon. And with these really big Pokemon that go into the late game, 𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏 and 𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏, they become much more threatening the later the game goes. So they've got to slow things down, let 𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏 do his thing, but still at the same time for True Gravity, keep your macro up. Make sure you are tied in levels going into that late game.
Yeah, I mean, of course, first I'd like to apologize. I thought it was 𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏, but it's actually still in the hands of 𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏. But anyway, back to the meta hand. Back and forth. You know who's going to be on top of the lead when it comes to range damage as well. But against Psychic Solaire. But then again, oh, they took each other out at the same time. What a way to go down. But guess what? Without the defender of the first goal post, more points being dunked in. They're trying to set up the foundation here. And guess what? No Blissey for the Blissey support. Damage coming in, fully committed. But the 𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏, another 1-0, keeping 𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏 alive and well. They got out of that situation, not just with the KO. They got the points, they got the goal post, and on top of that, another KO on their support for an additional bonus. 𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏 on an absolute roll. He's level 12, by the way, Tonelli. And we still have 4 minutes into the round. This guy is going to get that level 14 before it goes. And he got another one again.
Yep, he's managed to get Vulcan yet again. And True Gravity, they are being corralled onto their side lanes. They can't even go into the central area and feel safe. Where can they go to get this experience? The fact that they're being choked out in all these wild Pokemon and experience, this is going to prevent True Gravity from finding any way to equalize the game. They are so afraid because of how fast 𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏 is moving in this matchup. And they thought that Umbreon was going to be enough to control him, but unfortunately for Melon, he's just not able to find those openings to catch 𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏. And in the times that we have seen him get that mean look, the team is just not in position to follow up. And again, Vulcan just going to be absolutely destroyed by 𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏.
Priority targeting. Didn't even, there is no sign of hesitation coming in from 𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏. He understands once team members of True Gravity really grouped up in unison as a collective, even he will have a hard time despite this high levels that he has.
These levels, the level.
Yeah, dude, look, you know all these engagements so far has always been like this 2v3, but great timing with the mean look, was able to get this really beautiful KO on 𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏 as the Sylveon. Now a quick disengagement, but guess what? Objectives are being secured. They can't get a couple more, they want to try to achieve it, but look who's coming in. The blood is in the water and the Shark Sucker, the Sharpedo is coming in from the backline. 𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏 shows himself with the brush, dives all the way to the backline. I think he checked by the up to safety. They play around the defense of the first goal post, but that will do nothing to save you from the claws and the clutches of the Shadow Pokemon.
Oh, 𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏, he's a menace this game, and he doesn't look like he's going to stop anytime soon. Actually going to be running onto the goal zone as he gets staggered. But the thing is, can 𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏 get taken out? It doesn't look like they have enough juice. It's actually the 𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏 that actually hops off instead to be the priority target. But wait a minute, True Gravity, they are upset. They want 𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏, but they can't get him instead. They're going to have to settle with the two supports, the 𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏 and the Slowbro.
A salute to both 𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏 as each player
Fainting for the cause.
taking, like, literally giving up their lives for this. Absolutely well team coordination.
With how this game is going so far for KabichanS, this seems to be the play. If 𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏 is at threat, if he's under threat, you have to, whatever it is, the only person that cannot faint is 𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏. We've hit the late game, folks. It is time. Can True Gravity turn this around and tie this series 1-1, or will it be a 2-0 grand final victory? 𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏 sharking his way around, trying to find Vulcan. He has single-handedly shut down this Blissey every single time, and True Gravity haven't been able to do anything about it. Duck going into that top lane looking to score those 100 points, but look at this though, 𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏, he's sneaking into True Gravity, trying to find that opening, but the mean look keeping him under wraps. Vulcan, Vulcan, do not show your face.
I thought he saw him for a second there too. A little, maybe about one step forward, and possibly he might be on the list of the chopping block.
𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏.
So elusive.
Ooh, I can't read. This matchup is insane. Level 15 Zoroark still hunting, looking for his prey, but who is he going to jump on next? He really wants Vulcan. That's the only person that he wants. Maybe the Umbreon. In the meantime, though, we do have a back cap, 96 points, but Vulcan is gone again. There's Blissey, just doesn't get to play the game. Umbreon even committing the Unite as well, but 𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏 is left unchecked. It's going to be the Sylveon to finish off Melon here, trying to go for the jukes, but the Hyper Voice finishes him off. Looks like Duck, though, getting a KO himself instead, and the fight continues. Duck, he's got to buy some time. Throw 𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏 around. Do whatever you can. Keep wrestling. Do not go down, but the Buzzball is out of the picture. Now 𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏 I think this man, he is afraid. He's going to use Unite. He's actually going to commit it to go towards that central area. He has to somehow meet up with his team. Blissey's coming back into the fray. We have a Bliss Assist available, but if you lose the Dragonite, that's all your firepower out of this game. No more Dragonite for 30 seconds. We've got 10 seconds to go, Leonard, and KabichanS, they're about to do it. I think we found our champions for 2024.
It's Team KabichanS, ladies and gentlemen, in such a phenomenal manner, showing the paralysis of 𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏 with the Zoroark in hand. Your grand champion for the Pokemon Unite Asia Champion League 2024 is Team KabichanS. What a journey for these guys. Started off new from the regional stage, and look at where they are now. The world sees them. We see them for who they are, and what an amazing team.
That was a phenomenal performance coming out with 𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏. You thought that man could play Blaziken. He says, have you seen my Zoroark? Brilliant play, but he made so many moves, and he effectively dismantled the entire team of True Gravity. Vulcan just wasn't allowed to play the game. As soon as 𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏 saw him, just back to this.
You know the craziest part about it? There's three crazy things. Like I mentioned, early game macro play decisions will dictate how this game is, right? There is no hesitation, there was no doubt. He got the intel, he saw an opportunity. I don't even think he got the full intel either, right? He just bought 3 people, and he's just like, I'm not sure where's the other 2 players, the other 2 team members, but I'm going in. I have the burst, I have the damage. We'll keep hitting them as much as possible, avoid the team fights, avoid the CCs. And even 𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏, who was right next to Duck, by the way, right next to the bustle, all he could do was just watch. He fell so fast, and he just couldn't really do or say anything about it. And what's even crazier, towards the recourse of it, he was being very, not to say passive, he was being elusive. Trying to keep himself hidden, trying to see where's the prime time, who's an easy picking. But guess what? He engaged 2 times when someone decided the game. The first time was when the bustle went for the first goal post down. He tried to sneak in 100 points. He did get 100 points in, but that resulted in the whole team shifting to the top side because he dived in the first time. 𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏 had to commit all mean looking skills to slowly migrate to the top. The second time was the Dragon Knight, and when that Dragon Knight tried to dunk that 48 points, slow beam on top of Vulcan, and that was pretty much it.
Vulcan, poor Vulcan. This man just did not get to play the game at all. And I think if anything, he might be seeing 𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏 in his dreams for the next couple of days. Might hate that Pokemon for quite a bit. But look, 𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏 did the right thing for his team for this match in particular. They wanted to take the crown, no risks. I have to say though, props to him for playing Zoro in a really tough environment. A lot of other players, if they played up against this lineup of Pokemon, I don't think they would have found the same number of opportunities that 𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏 did.
That's what I'm saying, right? There was so much heavy lifting for 𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏 in that round. Literally, they didn't even give them the time or space. This is what I'm saying, right? This is the definition of trying to be aggressive. When you have an early game call, you have to be aggressive. You need to put it down to the ground for good. And this is literally the definition here. Some people, I know some people realize, okay, how do you put it down? I think we pressure them enough. But for 𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏 point of view, it's like, no, it's never enough. I want them 6 feet under the ground until the point where they can't even show their face. They see a team, they see my teammate, I want them running. I want them running for the trees, running for the hills until we are given the title of Grand Champions. However, still a very phenomenal game coming in from True Gravity. I think even with that composition alone, it will even against other teams with that kind of composition, that will be greater success. But 𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏 with the Zoroark, that really changed the game, really changed the terms. There are so many Pokemon that can really disrupt the Zoroark, but guess what? He just says, I like the challenge. I love it.
The challenge. He loves the thrill of the race. But here is our final bracket for the Pokemon Unite Asia Champions League 2024. We started day 1 with all 8 teams in the upper bracket, finding our first grand finalist in KabichanS taking a 2-0 victory off of 𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏, and then the rest of the teams had to fight the lower bracket gauntlet. And of all the teams in the lower bracket, it was True Gravity to make it through to challenge our first grand finalist. And what a dream run as well for this team. They went all the way from the first round of the lower bracket all the way to the grand finals. Back to back victories for this team.
Seriously, you gotta give a raise to 𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏 because that man, that player, I fear no one. But that player in my lobby against me,
oh man,
it scares me. Okay, that 𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏 it's like every
He's a monster.
Every member did their job. But I think there was no player who gave me such a threat just from watching his game than 𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏 with that Zoroark. I don't think that any player who outline, whether it's in terms of Buzzword or Zoroark or any other Pokemon, I don't think I feel this terrified and respectful at the same time for such a skill level coming from such that one player alone.
Well, maybe we see a lot more Zoroarks in some of our ranked matches, as some people are going to have a
Inspired
renewed perspective. But don't expect all of them to play like 𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏. You don't keep your expectations that high. But Zoro,
let's be honest, if every player can play like 𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏, I don't even know how this competition
I don't know if I
is
play
going
ranked anymore. I might be one of the few players to revive standard matches. But what a weekend here, Leonard. We started from months of these teams going through their individual qualifiers to come into the league stage, to play the league stage and to qualify for the finals, and then of course playing out the finals until we found our champion. I'm actually really glad that we got to see these teams play because now I'm getting very excited for the World Championships. I do believe a lot of the teams that are playing here, they should be sticking together. I hope they're ready for those qualifiers because it's coming right up. It's coming eventually, actually. It has to be soon because if they don't do it soon, I don't know when they're going to qualify for Honolulu. But the teams that qualified for the finals in ACL, I definitely expect a lot of them to stick together because for them to make it this far, you're doing something right.
Honestly, I feel any team that's currently inside this ACL shouldn't do self-improvement, get stronger, and I believe you will get stronger and better as time passes by. But seriously, don't change your roster. I think you guys have been great, phenomenal.
Keep working at it.
Yeah, really keep working at it. You guys have something really beautiful and something amazing. Stick to it. Don't give up just yet here. But let's be honest, right? Compared to last year or the past few ACL, Pokemon Unite has never felt this good so far. And this doesn't just apply to ACL. There's so many other Pokemon Unite series that's happening in the other regions as well. NAEU IC is currently on the way. Recently, NAEU also just finished the AOS Cup as well. Really great teams. Even Luminosity, who was previously the champions, had a really tough run towards their very end as well.
Okay, come on. Technically, it's the beginning of the season. We all know that the first the first matches, they're kind of a little bit funky because everyone's just coming out of hibernation. But we will start to see some more stability from these teams as the season progresses.
Of course.
But I am really, really excited to see who's going to be all the representatives going to Honolulu later this year. But I want to know what's happening with Asia, right? Like, what's happening with the Asia scene? How many slots are we going to get? What regions are going to qualify? What's happening with us? Okay, because everyone over in the West, they've got everything going. Everything's already started.
Like schedule-wise, especially.
Exactly.
Right?
And then for us, we're just like, hello.
No, I feel like this is the part where, like, seriously, I feel this is going to be the year.
That Asia will win.
Yeah, Asia